Good afternoon, and welcome to the David Braley Athletic Recreation Center. We are here this afternoon for some basketball between the women's Mohawk Mountaineers team and the Cambrian Golden Shields. I'm Kyler Sanderson.
And I'm Greg Rosser, and after a crushing loss 79-26 last night here at the D-Bark, Cambrian Golden Shield I think they're looking to bounce back after they had one fairly decent quarter of basketball against the Mountaineers. And the game can always change after you've faced a team and you know what's coming.
And we'll be coming back with the game just after this.
Please stand and remove your hats for the national anthem. And now for the starting lineups for the Cambrian Golden Shields. First, starting at our number 5,
And now we have the starting lineups for the Cambrian Golden Shield being introduced.
Starting at our number 14, Gala Overbizzy. Starting at forward, number 22, Trish Gala. Starting at forward, number 23, Chantal McMahon.
And now the starting lineups for the Mohawk Mountaineers team. Number 4, Caitlin Arbor. And Portia Hewitt coming in. Number 15, Steph Brymack. Number 22, Carissa Brown. And 23, Natalie Fisher.
That's right, we see Mohawk sporting those alternate jerseys for this game, trying to switch it up a little, and we may see a very different game from Cambrian today. You know, when you have a back-to-back game, and especially on the losing end, you tend to pay attention a little bit more to your opposing team, their tendencies, their style of play, and you have a better chance of adapting and have a chance of winning. And I think these teams are a little more evenly matched than the score was indicative of yesterday, Kyler.
Well, Greg, this Cambrian team's going to be hungry for their first win of the season this afternoon. Look for them to come out really strong to start this game. And we're just about set to tip off here. And we're underway, controlled by the Mountaineers. Natalie Fisher takes the point, passes over to Carissa Brown. Portia Hewitt, and a steal from the Cambrian Golden Shield to start this game. And a block from Carissa Brown, and she leads the fast break now. Strong move to the bucket off the mark. And we have the ball out of bounds to the Golden Shield.
And yesterday we saw a significant number of steals and turnovers forced by the Brown sisters, who have been very effective defensively for the Mountaineers women's team.
That's right, Greg. They were just creating havoc in the defensive passing lanes yesterday.
We've got a call. Looks like that one's going to be turned over to the Mountaineers. And we see Brown taking it now.
And Carissa Brown passes it around to Rymack over to Fisher. Carissa Brown at the top of the key inside. And Rymack with an open look. Off the mark, rebound to Cambrian. And number 14, Kayla Odorizzi, takes the ball to the basket. Loose ball.
And scoreless in this first minute.
That's right, Greg. The defense is really keyed in on each opposing team right now.
We see Callie Watmore going in for Kayla Odorizzi of the Cambrian Golden Shield.
And that's Victoria Bishop with an unorthodox shot there, goes out of bounds.
Both teams struggling to generate a little bit of offensive opportunities here.
Still early, I expect to see some scoring soon from this Mountaineers team. They're really setting up their offense, passing the ball around, getting it inside. And we have a foul coming up.
Looks like Caitlin Arbor was able to draw that, and she's heading to the free throw line. So we can see someone break the ice almost a minute 30 into this game.
And Caitlin Arbor gets the Mountaineers on the board with the first free throw.
Looks like we're not jinxing anyone today talking about free throws, Kyler.
Still early, Greg.
Oh well.
And some good defense by Carissa Brown, knocking the ball out of bounds, but the Cambrian Golden Shield will keep it.
That's right, we just talked about her wreaking havoc defensively, and she's just breaking up plays. And she actually got a piece of that pass there.
We see a lot of defensive pressure again to start this game off, as was evident in the last game. And Odorizzi misses the layup, rebound Cambrian. We'll have a couple free throws on this end.
That's right, good job by Chantel McMullen there to draw that foul.
And she's really a good shooter. She made a number of outside looks in the previous game.
That's right, she's been one of the standout players for this little two-game series we've had here for Cambrian.
Able to connect on the second.
And I'm sure she's happy with that.
Carissa Brown with an interior pass, tipped out of bounds. Portia Hewitt unable to corral the ball.
There's a little too much gravy on that pass, and Hewitt couldn't get control of it.
It was a good defensive effort by the Golden Shield.
Looks like both teams are pressuring pretty effectively defensively right now.
Mohawk nearly coming up with the steal there, but now Watmore with the ball. Shot clock winding down, stolen by Carissa Brown.
And Carissa Brown just
and Natalie Fisher on the
that.
breakaway. And we have a couple free throws coming up again for the Mountaineers.
And Carissa Brown literally pulled that shot out of the hands.
She just snatched it right out of the air.
That was pretty incredible, Kyler. Natalie Fisher will try to convert on these. She gets a lucky one there.
And we have some substitutions now. Karina
Right.
Brown checking in for Carissa Brown.
We see Brown for Brown, and we have Allison DiLorenzi hitting the court now for the Mountaineers as well.
Miscommunication on the pass there.
Interesting to see a slow start for both teams offensively.
Karina Brown inside has the pass tipped away, and Mohawk will maintain possession.
They Yeah, good job by Trish Taylor to break up that pass.
Loose ball down low, battled for. Possession arrow will keep it with the Mountaineers. And Lacey Walters now passes out to Natalie Fisher. She had a number of good outside shots in the previous game. And De Lorenzi fires the ball off the mark. Mohawk rebounds it. They're really working their offense now. A lot of crisp passes. The ball is moving nicely. And a hard fall there from Karina Brown. But she gets right back up and tries to steal the ball.
And a quick look pass there.
Cambrian coach Bruce Cowton telling his team to push the ball in transition.
And an air biscuit there for Victoria Bishop. And those are just not very filling, Kyler.
Nope. And De Lorenzi from the outside just hits back rim. Tough defense. Now the shot clock is winding down. Cambrian will have to force a shot. And another air ball turnover on a 24-second violation.
Chantal McMullen has had some great shots, and she's got some good form, but just pressured a little too much on defense, and you don't want that shot clock to wind down. You don't want to make a habit of that for your offense as the Golden Shield.
Karina Brown gets the ball. De Lorenzi now with another open look. That's off the mark. You know, it's still a little early, Greg. It's just after noon here in Hamilton. These teams both look a little tired maybe today, not scoring too much so far early in this game.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a little less intensity from both teams.
Not from Karina Brown, though, as she steals the ball but is unable to come away with the layup. And Watmore has the ball rejected inside. And over there from the Mountaineers.
Watmore put in a great effort yesterday and was, I think she was probably the most standout player for the Shield. She moves that ball quickly, and she's a little bit of a playmaker for the Shield as well. It looks like we're going to head to a timeout now. A smart move early in the quarter.
Both of these teams maybe need to regroup a little bit.
I think so. And we talked about the energy level being a little lower, having back-to-back games. And the only thing worse than back-to-back games is back-to-back away games, especially after coming off a loss.
Yeah, really tough for this Cambrian team with 2 consecutive road games here in the David Braley Athletic Recreation Center, home of the Mountaineers.
And Coach Duffy is trying to get his offense firing with the Mountaineers, as we can see here in the timeout.
We're just kind of standing and watching. Somebody's shooting. We got to get to the glass. What we did last night, we tipped some balls.
And Mountaineers coach Duffy telling his team to get on the offensive rebounds and get some second efforts.
That's right. We saw a lot of points scored last night off of 2 to 3, even 4 offensive rebounds. And just not giving up on plays is a really vital part of an effective offense. And we're 5 minutes in, and I mean, we're looking at 3-2 to Mohawk right now, and it's you wouldn't think to see that after yesterday's game.
No, it was a bit of an offensive outburst by the Mountaineers that scored 79 points. Shot off the mark, rebound, and we have a foul, 2 free throws coming up.
And that shot clock was winding down. It was almost at 5 seconds when that play was made.
Trish Taylor for the Golden Shield will shoot a pair. First one is good.
And we're seeing some really lucky free throws here, and some in and outs, and a lot of lucky bounces for both teams right now. Trish Taylor, of course, on the second team All-Stars last year for Cambrian, representing her team.
And she will be a key player in this game if the Golden Shield want to come away with their first win of the season. Steph Rymack with an open look and rebounded by Taylor. Pressure from Mohawk. And the Golden Shield are not able to get it over the half-court line in time for the 8-second violation.
De Lorenzi was a little disappointed with that play, and we see Fisher heading back in for Caitlin Arbor. And Karina Brown's going to take this for the Mountaineers.
Steph Rymack over to De Lorenzi. Karina Brown open for three. No good, but rebound by De Lorenzi. And the ball stays here.
A little bit of confusion there for Cambrian, as Callie Watmore didn't know what the call was on the play.
The Mountaineers run their offensive set out of bounds play. Rymack with an open look, passes it up, swings it over to Karina Brown. She gets fouled.
I know that's not Rymack's forte, but you know, she had a really good look at the basket there and could have been a really effective three to kind of get Mohawk on the board here.
Well, she's already missed a couple shots from that same location, maybe feeling a little gun shy.
And Karina Brown misses that first free throw. And the second. Off of Fisher there. And Cambrian will get possession.
And it's 3-3 about halfway through this first quarter. And a careless turnover there by Trish Taylor, stepping over the line.
That's right. I mean, those are those little things that shouldn't be a problem for your team, and small problems can become big ones when they begin to accumulate.
Yeah, they start to add up, and then you get behind the 8 ball, and that's when you find yourself facing a large deficit, as this Golden Shield team did yesterday. And Rymack with a nice cut to the basket, but is unable to hit. Natalie Fisher misfires too.
And Lacey Walters couldn't quite get a hand on that ball on the rebound.
Seconds on the shot clock.
And those weird bounces again that we're seeing today.
Rymack over to Karina Brown. Cross-court pass to De Lorenzi. She cuts, and she's hit on the drive to the basket, but we have a non-shooting foul.
So Mohawk can get possession of that again, I believe. And we have some substitutions for Mohawk as we see Carissa Brown hitting the court and Portia Hewitt.
And Coach Duffy really continuing that trend of substituting one Brown for the other.
Yeah, and well, they both have similar play styles. They're very good defensively, and they both have a really aggressive play style. So it's good to have two rested bodies with that play style.
Well, it's interesting that since I'm sure they played together so much that Coach Duffy decides not to have them on the court at the same time. I guess he wants to have one of them ready to go at all times with fresh legs. And there's a steal by Carissa Brown. She gets to Portia Hewitt, who's hit hard, and she'll shoot a pair.
So a good drive by Hewitt there, drawing that foul. She's going to take this one for Mohawk. And I mean, a really uneventful first quarter thus far. So we see Victoria Bishop heading back in for the Golden Shield. She seems to be still having that injury on her her left thumb.
And Portia Hewitt breaks the tie. hits both. She's really a good free throw shooter.
That's right. And free throw is a very underrated aspect of the game that I think a lot of teams don't address as much, especially when you play an undisciplined team and you're getting a lot of fouls.
It's definitely an overlooked aspect. And we have a turnover there by the Golden Shield.
Chantel McMullen's heading back in for the Golden Shield. Brown will take this for Mohawk.
First Brown cross-court pass to DiLorenzi. And a couple more free throws coming up for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, and Cambrian taking a lot of fouls right now. Not sure if that's part of their game, trying to slow the pace or break up plays. Looked like Mohawk was starting to gather just a little bit of momentum.
Second one rattles in. You see the pressure by the Mountaineers coming up with another steal here. DiLorenzi passes inside to Hewitt. Ball nearly turned over, but DiLorenzi picks it up over to Brown. Boric with it now. Krista Brown wide open. She drives to the hoop. Natalie Fisher is fouled.
And a great battle under the net by both teams, and that all started with DiLorenzi reading that long pass.
And the free throw train continues here.
And, you know, Mohawk is doing exactly what Coach Duffy said. He was saying, you know, get those offensive rebounds and start to make something happen. And we just saw them battle for 2 or 3 rebounds, and now Fisher's at the free throw line for the Mountaineers.
They've been doing just that, Greg, getting second and third looks, just not capitalizing on all their free throws attempts so far.
I think there's a little bit of hesitation in the Mountaineers as we saw DiLorenzi and Anna Bork both having some good looks there and not taking the shot. And Portia Hewitt getting a hand on that.
Unfortunately, this ball turned over.
It's a little bit of a too fast pass. Sloppy pass there, uncharacteristically from Callie Watmore. And the Mountaineers almost able to convert. It looks like we're having another timeout being called with 2:18 left in the first quarter, and it's only 6-3 for the Mountaineers. Very low scoring quarter, but not really uneventful.
Well, there's been a lot of foul calls early on, a lot of free throw attempts from the Mountaineers.
A little bit of confusion on the court there. Mohawk wasn't sure if there was a timeout or not as they all started to huddle up over there. Had to double check with the officials. And we see Coach Duffy, I guess he's struggling to still generate that offense.
We just have to finish, okay? So just stay positive, okay? Once we get the lid off this thing, it's just like what happened at St. Clair. Now we can learn from that experience, okay? Now we're gonna get better. We're not gonna go down, we're gonna go up, okay? Okay, listen. On the offense, let's run a good 43 this time, all right? On the inbounds here, all right? They're really active. So what I want
And we're back now, and we heard Coach Duffy citing that St. Clair game as a learning experience. And that's good coaching right there. Trying to make sure his team stays confident and doesn't lose faith in the offensive power that they obviously had in the previous game.
Well, they're not scoring at a very high rate so far, Greg, but they still have a pretty solid lead, so they just need to keep at it and keep getting open looks.
And, you know, it looks like that Cambrian D is a little tighter than yesterday, and we see players making a little more of an impact. We see more play time from Caitlin Bishop, and we're seeing, or pardon me, from Victoria Bishop, and we're seeing a lot more play from Alexis Lewis too, and it kind of seems like that's the defensive formula, despite the fouls. but they've been kind of stopping Mohawk from getting any real good looks and scoring opportunities.
The problem is that just Cambrian has committed too many turnovers. They haven't had enough offensive attempts for themselves. And Rymack with the rebound and a chance for a three-point play.
And that one was huge. You can tell everyone was waiting for the pin to drop on that one. And Rymack gets a chance at the and one to increase this lead to 6. And Rymack makes no mistake. And Steph Rymack also named to the All-Star team, along with Portia Hewitt. We see them a good team on the court.
And a struggle to get anything going on the offensive end here for the Golden Shield. Nice cut by Watmore, but the pass is off the mark.
Yeah, Watmore really speedy. She has a way of getting inside without anyone really noticing, and she shows some great athleticism yesterday and a little bit today as well.
Carissa Brown starts the offense. Rymack looking to pass the ball inside, but nothing there. And there's Watmore coming up with a key play.
Just
tipped
talked
it
about
off
Watmore.
of Brown.
We just talked about her speed and her athleticism there, and we saw it
On full display.
breaking up that play.
And now Watmore works against the press of the Mountaineers, struggles to get it up, and we have a near turnover. And the Mountaineers come away with the ball. Rymack over to Brown.
And we got a traveling here.
Get out your drool cup because that was a double dribble.
And looks like we got another turnover for the Mountaineers. And we see Trish Taylor heading in for Alexis Lewis, who's been really effective on defense for the Golden Shield.
Carissa Brown misfires on the three-point attempt, and Boric comes up with the rebound. Final minute now of the first quarter. Portia Hewitt has the ball stolen by Watmore. Watmore loses the dribble, but she maintains it. She goes up for the layup. Off the mark, gets her own rebound, no good. And the Mountaineers have the ball now. Down to 33 seconds in the quarter. Boric wants the open shot, and she hits it.
And Boric nails that. And we're now seeing some offensive power being generated by the Mountaineers, and smiles on all of their faces right now. They finally able to crack that
and a steal.
Cambrian shield.
Steal by Rymack on the breakaway now. Portia Hewitt looks to get a layup, and she hits it.
And that is the end of the first quarter here at the D-Bark. Mohawk 13, Cambrian 3. And we just see Coach Duffy was saying that they were gonna just get a little bit of offense and they'd blow the lid off this, and boy was he right, with some great drives by the Mountaineers in the last minute or so of the first quarter.
A lot of turnovers there by Cambrian in the first quarter. Only 3 points on the board. They're struggling to get anything going on the offensive end.
Well, and they seem to find their stride defensively really early on, keeping Mohawk to 3 points for most of that game, but that comes at a cost of not being able to generate any offense.
Well, you knew that wasn't going to last. You knew that this Mountaineers team was going to start scoring eventually, because they continue to get open layups and wide open shots, and eventually it was just a matter of time before they started to drop.
And we see Portia Hewitt there. Had a really good layup going into the end of the quarter now. And Duffy just reinforcing.
At the end there, that was a great push. Okay, that's the momentum we need. Okay, continue with continue with good
Cambrian as a whole going 0 for 8 on that one. And that's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow offensively, Kyler.
Yeah, 14 turnovers, 0 field goals. That is no recipe for success.
Well, 3 for 21 is really nothing to be happy about either on Mohawk's side. So you can see why offense was such a problem for both teams.
Both teams looking a little lethargic early on in this afternoon game.
I think now that they've warmed up, we might see a little more energy in the second quarter.
Let's hope so, Greg.
There, trying to get around Brown.
And we have a good look on the offensive end by Cambrian, but just off the mark by Trish Taylor, and she misfires on the pass. Intercepted by Karina Brown. Karina Brown, we have a kick ball here.
Karina Brown with those hands. She's just getting in there and stealing passes and dribbles, and she snatched a shot right out of the hand of
It's Trish Taylor there on the pass. Another turnover by the Golden Shield.
Still able to break up that play.
Caitlin Arbor with a good look just off the mark. Lacey Walters can't handle the pass, but tips it to Arbor, fighting for the rebound.
Mountaineers really love that long pass, huh?
It's been pretty effective for them so far, getting them a number of open looks. They just haven't knocked them down. Especially Carissa Brown and Karina Brown. They're very fond of passing the ball across the court from one end of the key to the other.
And they have those speedy and accurate passes, which they're able to do that with.
And Cambrian just getting the ball over the half-court line in time for the 8th second. A lot more to Bishop. Coach Duffy nearly on the court now, playing defense for the Mountaineers. Now urging his team to push the tempo. And Lacey Walters can't handle the pass down low. And it's intercepted by Watmore, who loses it out of bounds.
Callie Watmore's actually having a good defensive game for Cambrian right now. And it's one of the reasons why Mohawk's being held to only 13 points in a quarter and some change. And we've got Trish Taylor heading on for Chantel McMullen. And we're seeing Coach Cowton trying to keep some fresh legs on the court.
Natalie Fisher has her shot rejected by Trish Taylor. Maybe that'll get the Golden Shield fired up a little bit.
And Cambrian smiles on their face after that one.
There's another cross-court pass. It's been effective all game long so far, but the ball's turned over inside. We have a foul down low on the Mountaineers. And the Golden Shield will look to get their first field goal of the game on this possession. Tie up there. Possession arrow will turn it over to the Mountaineers.
And Allison DiLorenzi and Karina Brown being a good team, forcing these turnovers. Bishop will take possession here.
Ball nearly turned over, and it is stolen by Karina Brown, and she's chugging away on the
And it is steal after steal
off
for
the mark.
Karina Brown.
Natalie Fisher, Di Lorenzi from outside hits the front rim. Mohawk ball.
And you really can't make a pass with Karina Brown in your general vicinity, as we've seen tonight. I think that's a third steal in the row defensively for her.
And here she is passing it to Natalie Fisher from way outside, and she gets a lucky roll on the bank shot on the three-pointer there.
You know, we're still seeing those lucky bounces tonight.
Well, you know what, Greg? Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And we have another steal by the Mountaineers here, and Karina Brown leading another fast break. She slows up the pace and waits for the rest of her teammates. Natalie Fisher driving to the basket, gets hit, but no call. Rebounded by the Golden Shield.
Almost got her own rebound on that one, too. Substitutions coming in. Kayla Odorizzi coming in for Cambrian. And Carly Dugan will head to the bench. And we now have Carissa Brown and Caitlin Arbor on the court.
Look for another cross-court pass here. Inside, finds its way to Caitlin Arbor, and that shot rattles in. Mohawks getting on a little bit of a roll now. Up 18-3 with 6:52 to play. And now a steal by Steph Rymack and a foul by Victoria Bishop.
And that's exactly what Coach Duffy wanted. A little bit of offense to just ignite the spark, so to speak, of their offense.
Cross-court pass to Steph Rymack up to the top to Carissa Brown, and we have a traveling call here. That play brought to you by Travelocity.
Excellent product placement, Kyler. I'm sure we won't get sued.
Just looking for a free trip to Miami, Greg. And we have a steal and a turnover. Carissa Brown leads the charge off the mark. And the ball stays with the Mountaineers.
That's right, Di Lorenzi came in to try to finish that play off and able to keep possession in the Mountaineers' hands for this one. And Portia Hewitt losing the handle on that one, and Cambrian getting a steal.
Kayla Odorizzi brings it up now against the defense of the Mountaineers. She looks to call her own number, possibly. And nearly a first field goal of the game for the Golden Shield, but just off the mark. Risky pass there, but
yeah, I thought Odorizzi was going to get a hand on that. And a call on Cambrian, and Hewitt will head to the free throw line. And we've got Fisher coming in for Arbor right now during the free throws. And we just saw a great drive by Kayla Odorizzi for the Golden Shield. Wasn't able to convert on that.
Portia Hewitt just short on the first free throw attempt.
You know what's going through the head of Cambrian right now, with 2 quarters and change left to change something in this game.
We have another turnover here. Rymack, Brown, Di Lorenzi, Golden Shield.
And Mohawk just struggling to hit any threes. Said they went 3 for 21 in the first quarter.
Watmore with a nice look now. Portia Hewitt gets the rebound. Rymack with an outside look. Dial it up from downtown. We have a timeout on the floor.
And Bruce Cowton calling a timeout for the Golden Shield with 5:16 left in the second quarter. And
This is Cowton's second year coaching the Golden Shield. A little bit of a struggle so far this afternoon to put some points on the board.
That's right, and he's probably trying to generate some offense, and I'm sure the Mountaineers right now are feeling pretty good about their effort this far in the quarter as opposed to the first quarter.
You look this way, even if there's nobody there, you look, okay? And then we run a pin right here, and then
And Bruce Cowton riding solo today with no assistant coaches on his bench. So he's going to have to take full control of his team and manage them today if they're going to have any chance of coming back in this game against the Mountaineers.
That's right, Greg. Just telling his team right now to move the ball and not commit so many turnovers in the backcourt. They need to get the ball up over past the pressure of the Mountaineers.
And the turnovers are really what's been killing them. I mean, we see between Carissa and Karina Brown, they've probably forced most of the steals this game, and Di Lorenzi gets in all the passing lanes as well, and she doesn't have a very long reach, but she's got that basketball intellect.
Well, that's right, Greg, and this Golden Shield would probably serve them well to keep the ball on the opposite side of wherever one of the Brown sisters is playing, because they've come up with a number of steals and tipped balls so far.
And you know, you can carry the ball down the court and, you know, try to stick to those smart passes, not try to take any risks, play it safe.
And there's another turnover. Portia Hewitt this time, and now Chris Brown under the basket, and she scores.
And we just talked about not taking any of those long passes. I really wouldn't make a pass any further than maybe 10 yards.
And there's a long pass and tipped away out of bounds, and that's just what you were talking about, Greg. The
we
ball
see
will
that
come
again,
back to the Mountaineers.
Those long, risky passes, you can't take that chance against this Mohawk defense. They will just get a hand on it.
And Rymack now passes it. And we have no shot. We have a foul call.
Looks like it's going to be on Larissa Rivard. And she's not happy with it, and neither is Coach Cowton. I didn't see what the call was. I didn't even notice a foul on the play.
Anna Borick looking for someone to pass to. Shot from the corner hits the backboard, but Chris Brown is there for the rebound, just off the mark. And now Watmore gets fouled by Anna Borick.
And we see that press there, pressuring the Golden Shield. It's become really hard for them to get any passes off longer than a couple yards.
And the Golden Shield still looking for their first points of this second quarter, nearly 6 minutes in. And we have the first field goal of the game for the Golden Shield.
And
put it on the board, Greg.
That Kayla Odorizzi just drains that.
Breaks the goose egg of the second quarter. A little miscommunication on the offensive end from the Mountaineers. And we have an offensive 3-second call. Portia Hewitt was camped down low under the basket. You can't do that, Greg.
And there was a little bit of confusion there. You saw Carissa Brown. She wasn't quite sure what was going on there, and saw a little exchange telling Portia to get out of the key there, and led to a
turnover there. And the Golden Shield maintained possession. Cross-court pass. Carissa Brown thought about getting a hand on it, but she'll get a hand up in the face of Watmore on the shot attempt.
And another air biscuit for Watmore. You know, when you're forced to shoot threes from a solid 3 yards outside of the three-point line, that's a really tough shot.
And down low, we have a second basket now by Trish Taylor for the Golden Shield.
And from the exact same spot that Odorizzi drained her bucket too.
And we're gonna have a turnover here. Steph Rymack lets the ball go out of bounds, as it would have been a backcourt violation either way.
That's right, and Anna Bork just not enough on that pass.
We have some substitutions now for the Mountaineers.
And we see a Brown for a Brown, and DiLorenzi hits the court again for the Mountaineers. Callie Watmore will take this one for the Golden Shield.
Turnover, Caitlin Arbor comes up with the ball and nearly tipped away, but a foul committed there by number 11 for Cambrian, Chantel Thomas.
Yeah, we're just seeing that turnover game coming out. I mean, I think there were close to 30 turnovers in the first half of yesterday's game committed by the Golden Shield, so that has become the cornerstone of Mohawk's play against this team.
And Odorizzi checks out for the Golden Shield, and number 10, Carly Dugan, is in the game. Dugan fires an interception there. Caitlin Arbor comes up with the ball, weaving through traffic. DiLorenzi comes up with the ball. Natalie Fisher from outside lets it fly off the mark, rebounded by Trish Taylor.
Talked about all those threes being off. I'm not sure if we've seen a single three this quarter from Mohawk, but plenty of chances.
Trish Taylor says, here's a three-pointer, just off the mark though.
And we see Karina Brown coming down the court now for Mohawk to Fisher. Will Fisher take another three? And that one went right through DiLorenzi and Arbor. Little miscommunication again on offense for the Mountaineers.
And with 2 minutes to go in the first half, the score is 23 for the Mountaineers, 7 for the Golden Shield.
Another risky pass. I thought Fisher was going to get a hand on that.
And down low and inside, a foul called, and free throws coming up for Chantel Thomas.
And this is what you need right now. This Shield, you just need to get anything on the board to try and close this gap on the Mountaineers. See Fisher heading off for Rymack, hitting the court again, that all-star we were talking about. Her and Portia Hewitt named to the all-star team. You know, there's quite a few girls on this team that I could see on the all-star team as well, Kyler.
There's a lot of depth and balance from this Mountaineers team. Certainly Carissa Brown, Karina Brown.
Yeah, they have a very
top defensive players.
Very well-rounded bench too. I mean, Duffy is just pulling people all the way down the line, and they all have a skill set that is valuable to the team.
Everyone contributing and chipping in right now. Watmore with the ball, looking to feed it inside. Nobody there. Now a switch with Walters on the outside. She comes up with a steal. And Lacey Walters, of course, was the female freshman of the year a season ago for this Mountaineers team.
That's right, and she's been doing really well, and we're seeing more and more play, her getting more time on the court, starting to acclimate to the play style of the Mountaineers. You can tell she's a little more of a conservative player and isn't used to the aggressiveness that Mohawk employs on offense and defense, actually, Kyler.
Well, Greg, there are not many teams that face the Mountaineers that really can match the size of Walters.
And we see
an outside shot there.
Getting back on the board.
The first outside shot for the Golden Shield all afternoon. Karina Brown fires it.
See that pressure again.
Shot clock and game clock almost in line now. Couple second differential. The Mountaineers could wind it down for almost the last shot of the half here. And looks like they're planning on doing just that. As Steph Rymack dials it up, and it's good from outside. There's a three-pointer.
No mistake there, and Steph Rymack is just able to hit those shots from the outside fairly well. And that will be it for the first half, and Mohawk leading 28-11 against the Golden Shield right now.
And there's a little bit of slowing down of the offense compared to yesterday's game, Greg.
That's right, but we actually saw the Golden Shield able to sort of find their stride with a few field goals and then that long jumper to get some points on the board, and then the free throws. So we can see they have it in them to generate offensive power. It's just a matter of execution against that Mohawk defense.
They had a better second quarter than the first, that's for sure. But
I would agree.
It's going to be a real uphill battle in the second half to try to come back from this 17-point deficit.
We see that first basket there from Kayla Odorizzi. And another one in the same area by Chantel McMullen.
And 28-11 at halftime. We'll be right back after this break coming up for the second half. And welcome back to the David Braley Athletic Recreation Center, where the second half of the Mountaineers and the Cambrian Shield is about to get underway.
That's right, Kyler. Now in the second quarter, Cambrian had a little bit of a better quarter. They were still outscored 15-8, but that's significantly better than 13-3.
Well, struggles on the offensive end from both teams so far in this game. The Mountaineers only shooting 21% from the floor against 15% for the Cambrian Golden Shield.
That's right, and that's not a percentage you really want to see as either team. And another thing is that Cambrian, those 8 points for Cambrian in the second quarter all came in the last 3 minutes. So that says something about their offense if they can get something going.
That's right, Greg. Down 17. They're going to have an uphill battle in this third quarter.
That's right, and players are hitting the court right now. Looks like Cambrian's going with their powerhouse, so to speak, team makeup. And we're seeing a lot more play from Fisher today than we did yesterday. And the Browns seem to be splitting time pretty evenly.
And here we go. Steph Rymack, who had a solid shooting performance in the first half. She was one of the only Mountaineers to have a good shooting percentage. She was 4 for 7 now, 5 for 8 from the field with another outside look.
That's right, and that's a great way for the Mountaineers to start and set that tempo quickly.
Shot off the mark, rebounded by Rymack, and she pushes the ball up court to Carissa Brown. Back to Rymack for another layup, and that is swatted out of the air by Trish Taylor.
Trish Taylor just was not having that from Steph Rymack.
She's had a couple of huge blocks so far in this game.
Yeah, and that was a really good block. I'm not sure she got
And a nice steal there by Watmore on the cross-court pass.
Watmore with that speed, grabbing those passes out of the air. And Odorizzi puts 2 on the board for Cambrian.
And Watmore falls down as Fisher works the ball over to Rymack.
Brown was just, she was trying to make a call whether she should pass it or move the ball, and she just said, I'm just going to take this one home. And almost a turnover there. We see the double team on Trish Taylor. And there's McMullen.
And stolen by Portia Hewitt, and she's all alone now on the breakaway, and she'll score on a layup.
And Portia Hewitt, she's a really patient player, and you can see that, she's under hot pursuit
and she
there.
gets her hand on the ball all over the court right now is Portia Hewitt.
End to end, breaking up these plays. And we see Coach Duffy right now making a substitution. We have De Lorenzi heading in for Rymack. Rymack drained that huge 3 right at the beginning. McMullen getting her own rebound and putting that one away. And right now in this quarter, the Shield are outscoring the Mountaineers.
Mountaineers still hanging on to a 20-point lead, 35-15.
And holding on McMullen there.
53.
And we have some substitutions for the Shield right now as Victoria Bishop and Chantel Thomas head in for the Shield.
Natalie Fisher finds Caitlin Arbor. Air ball rebounded by Carissa Brown.
Oh, and Brown goes down hard and looks like there's bouncing bodies over there.
No hard feelings as everyone
having a laugh while Victoria Bishop lost her balance, and as Brown was getting up, she kind of bumped her again. Brown missing that first free throw.
Shield commit another turnover.
A little bit of traveling there. And Carissa Brown will take this. And those long passes again. And we got a 3-second violation here on Mohawk.
On Portia Hewitt for the second time in this game.
That's right, looks like there's been a little bit of communication issues between Hewitt and the rest of the Mountaineers.
Well, usually when that happens, Greg, the player down low is either expecting a shot from one of her teammates or expecting to receive the ball. Neither one of those happened, and we have a turnover. Portia Hewitt makes up for the earlier mistake and steals the ball, and now Carissa Brown drives hard to the basket. Trish Taylor tries to take the charge, but she's called for the blocking foul. And Carissa Brown will head back to the free throw line.
That's right, and only 3 minutes in, and still a substantial lead for Mohawk as they lead 36-15 against Cambrian. That's not good either by Brown, and Coach Cowton telling his Shield to start setting up. We see how hard it is to get passes out against this Mountaineer defense.
It's been a struggle just getting the ball up past half court so far for the Golden Shield.
That's right, Kyler. The Mountaineers are just canvassing the court, and that press is really causing some trouble for their passing game.
Chantel Thomas connects on the first. And now the second. And we'll see Lacey Walters and Karina Brown checking into the game now. And Watmore a little aggressive on defense there.
They weren't sure who was taking that.
Caitlin Arbor with the bucket.
And quick little simple plays like that are the bread and butter of.
And Natalie Fisher, very nice steal there, able to save it to Karina Brown. And now let's see if she can reward herself with a three. No, but Lacey Walters gets the rebound, and she'll have a chance for a three-point play.
With that and one. And I think it's the shoes, Kyler.
It's got to be the shoes.
Got to
right?
be the shoes.
Those nice pink Nikes. Don't you have a pair like that, Greg?
I don't think I do, Kyler. You may have me confused with yourself.
Reset. 24.
And Karina Brown's going to take possession here as Mohawk sets up and Fisher takes it. And Di Lorenzi trying to save that with the air biscuit from Fisher. And the air biscuit is always a tough one to swallow. And
Caitlin Arbor with an open look. Good. Watmore passes it up now. Odorizzi has the ball and she'll look to drive and shoot. Off the mark, gets her own rebound though. Resets the offense.
Odorizzi looking like she's trying to set something up here for the Shield. And there it is right there. Trish Taylor, yeah. And Odorizzi really aggressive against Di Lorenzi there.
Lacey Walters with a nice pass on the cutting Natalie Fisher. Misfires, but her team still had the ball. She needs to stay on the offensive end until the play is concluded.
And Fisher not hitting those threes like she's used to. You can see the look on her face after she missed that easy one from the inside.
And Fisher will take a seat.
With Arbor.
Stolen by Di Lorenzi. Layup. I think Trish Taylor got a piece of that again. Now she's holding her elbow and grimacing. Watmore open, fakes the shot inside, turned over to Walters.
I think like a few Mountaineers got a piece of that pass coming in down low.
Anna Borick finds Karina Brown. Ball tipped. Still alive down low.
Portia Hewitt hesitating to battle for that ball.
Watmore fouled.
Watmore happy about that one. As Mohawk has increased their lead to 24 points. And we got a timeout being called.
Settled into a little bit better that time.
The person at the top here, they got every person coming to the shooter, they're taking this away, this person is wide open. The top person just trails to the weak side. So if you're inbounding the ball, you can look off here, and then look for this person on the backside, okay? So 41 next time.
Okay, so look at when we're in Caleb.
And we have Coach Kevin Duffy now trying to get all of his players focused on the game despite the big lead here. They don't want to let up at all.
That's right. You know, a game can slip away from you if you get complacent. You never know what's going to happen. There's still a lot of basketball left to be played, a full 15 minutes and a quarter and change there.
Well, I don't think that this game will slip away from the Mountaineers, Greg. With a quarter and a half to play here, the Mountaineers have a solid lead, playing this Cambrian team looking for their first win on the season. Mountaineers have the ball tipped away, but right to Karina Brown. And we have an over and back violation.
Yeah, that backcourt violation. Di Lorenzi just jumped over the line there. Couldn't quite get it back over. McMullen will take it for the Golden Shield. And we see Odorizzi trying to set up the play here.
Watmore from the outside. Rebounded by Odorizzi. Trish Taylor says, why not? On the three-point attempt off the mark. Rebounded and blocked by Portia Hewitt.
And DiLorenzi is off to the races there.
Karina Brown from the outside. No good. We have 4 new players getting set to check in for the Mountaineers. Karina Brown from the outside. Dial it up from Browntown. 3 points from Mountaineers.
That's right, and we talked about how effective the Brown sisters have been for the Mountaineers. Tons of steals, tons of offensive chances, and they play with a lot of grit and a lot of explosive play as well.
And we see Karina Brown take a hard fall there, and she'll check out of the game as Carissa Brown will check into the game.
That's right, we have full 5 new players, and we saw Coach Duffy talking to his team as they were making the exchange. I think he's got something up his sleeve, Kyler.
Think he's got a trick play coming here, Greg?
Well, you know, this would be the time to try stuff and really rotate your bench in a lot and get people playing with other players that they wouldn't normally play with, and, you know, practical experience. Nothing can really replace that.
That's right, Greg. This could be a good time to maybe work on some new plays in game that Coach Duffy's been working on in practice. And the referee's just deciding where to inbound the ball at this time.
I think there was a little bit of confusion after that, after the subs came on. And are we going to see? We're going to see.
There's actually, Karina Brown got fouled and she had checked out of the game, but she's back in now to shoot a couple of free throws.
And Carissa Brown standing by to go in for her sister.
And Mohawk has the lead of 47-20 with just under 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. And Carissa Brown just wreaking havoc in the passing lanes. And a steal by Brown, and she will head to the free throw line. Foul is on number 14 for the Golden Shield, Odorizzi. And she checks out of the game for Watmore. First free throw is off the mark. Carissa Brown rattles in the second. And now the press defense by the Mountaineers is on full display. Watmore trying to get it up court, and she does. We have a layup there by Chantel Thomas. And Fisher dribbles in down low and finds Portia Hewitt, who misfires, but rebounded by Steph Rymack, and another possession for the Mountaineers. Natalie Fisher over to Rymack, to Brown. Hits front rim, but the rebound goes to the Mountaineers once again. And that's those second and third opportunities that Coach Duffy was talking about in the first half. The Mountaineers really taking advantage of them in the second. And Portia Hewitt is fouled. And the Golden Shield are over the foul limit, and the Mountaineers will shoot free throws the rest of the quarter.
And another timeout being called here as Mohawk maintains that dominating lead, 48-22.
And then what will happen is this low post player here will come out and attack the guard, and then it's just a step around, okay? And then you can follow through to the middle here. Either whoever it is, doesn't matter which guard it is, can shoot the layup, or you can look for the dump down the middle, and then take
And the Golden Shield really picking up the scoring pace in the third quarter here a little bit, even though it doesn't matter to the overall score. They have already matched their total in points from the first half in the first 7 minutes of the third quarter.
That's right. You know, scoring more in a quarter than you did in your opening 2 quarters it's a plus side. And in a game
promising.
like this, as a coach, you want to take as many positives out of this as you can. And I'm sure that's what Coach Houghton is thinking right now. And we have seen those glimpses of solid scoring opportunities being generated by the Golden Shield today and yesterday. They also had a solid quarter. Well, unfortunately,
They're facing a large deficit at the time. Portia Hewitt is off on the first.
Portia Hewitt having a little bit of an off day, I think, having those communication issues, those 2 3-second violations. And she hasn't really played a lot of minutes today on the court for the Mountaineers. But I also think that's Coach Duffy trying to get his younger players and getting his bench really worked into the game and operating together.
That's right, Greg. A lot of depth on this Mountaineers team. A lot of players can come into this lineup and really be effective for Coach Duffy. Watmore in traffic.
And Watmore just tried to take that one home all by herself and came up short.
She turned it over.
And she's not happy with that call.
Carissa Brown with the ball outside. She says, I'm going to shoot the 3, but rebounded by Portia Hewitt off the mark. And the Golden Shield have it once more. Ball stolen. Portia Hewitt is off to the races now. She's wide open for a layup just off the mark. Rebounded by McMohan. And she struggles to get the outlet pass up court.
And Hewitt's been really lucky with those turnovers, being the first one down the court and having those scoring opportunities just all on her own.
Well, she's got those long legs, Greg. She's one of the faster players on the Mountaineers team. Watmore from the outside, rebounded by Brown. Natalie Fisher wide open. Steph Rymack over to Brown, inside to Hewitt. The nice move, but that's just off the mark, and Hewitt tips it out of bounds.
And we see that press from the Mountaineers.
And another steal from Portia Hewitt. Misfired, but Brown is there for the rebound. No good.
And Trish Taylor getting ready to hit the court for the Golden Shield.
Watmore gets it up past half. Dribbles through a variety of players for the Mountaineers. Open look, no good.
And those are those rare opportunities you need to capitalize on. And Carly Dugan had a solid release, but couldn't take that one home.
No good. Coach Duffy looking on as his team maintaining the large lead.
He looks a little more worried than I would expect when you're maintaining a 20-something point lead.
He was just thinking about who to send in the game next, and he calls Lacey Walters and Allison DiLorenzi to check into the game at the next dead ball. Watmore with the long-range shot.
Yeah, Watmore feeling good about that 3.
And a turnover. Brown stepping over the end line, and a turnover to the Golden Shield.
You know, penalties, you can't take whistles like that. We saw Cambrian take 1 or 2 like that as well in the opener.
Fortunately, with the big lead for the Mountaineers, it doesn't look to hurt them too much. But Cambrian capitalizes right away with their own 3-pointer.
And Chantel Thomas took a little bit of a tumble. She gets up. She'll be okay. And another 3 from the outside.
And this has
by
really
Carly Dugan.
been a solid quarter for the Golden Shield so far, scoring 16 points with 40 seconds still to go in the quarter after only 11 points in the first half.
That's right, and you know, when you're struggling like this, it's important to see the positives, and that is one of the positives for the Golden Shield.
Walters with the rebound down low, and she's fouled and earns a trip to the charity stripe.
That's right, and still a 21-point deficit for the Mountaineers.
And Walters, of course, the female freshman of the year in the OCAA last season, looking to build on a second season of strong play.
And Rymack battling for the ball under the basket there. Possession going to Cambrian.
Watmore now brings it in with 15 seconds to go in the quarter. She pulls up, misfires, rebounded by Walters. 5 seconds now on the clock. Mountaineers will have to hurry. Carissa Brown's gonna have to shoot it. Layup, no good. After 3 quarters of play, the score is Mohawk Mountaineers 49, Cambrian Golden Shield 27.
And Cambrian started to close that gap a little, 2 back-to-back threes, and they've scored more in one quarter than they had in the previous 2 combined. So a little bit of positive on their side. And the Mountaineers are just firing on all cylinders, and Coach Duffy's keeping fresh legs on this court, consistently delving deep into that bench.
Well, that's right, Greg. This Mountaineers team with almost an insurmountable lead at this juncture of the game, up with a big lead. They're looking to get a lot of players involved in the game in this 4th quarter, maybe get their starters a rest.
That's right, and you know, in back-to-back games, that is a factor. Fatigue is a factor. And we saw that first quarter, both teams struggling to generate any offense, and that is a symptom of back-to-back games, you know. And especially being away, that's doubly as tough for the Shield.
And the Mountaineers women's team will play their next game on Sunday, November 17th at Niagara College. Looking to head into that game with a 4-1 record after hopefully picking up another victory this afternoon.
So we see Cambrian getting outscored 21-16 in that 3rd quarter. We're seeing more and more offense from Cambrian, but more and more offense from Mohawk in turn as well, as they scored 13 in the first, 15 in the second, and 21 in the 3rd.
Well, each of these teams has scored more than they had in the previous quarter, so after a sluggish start, a little more offense being generated.
Okay, let's go, ladies. Come on. Let's go, ladies. This is adversity. What are you going to do? Show your characters, okay? Work on 3. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Yep.
Players head back to the court now for the start of the 4th quarter.
And Coach Cowton having a discussion with the timekeeper. And we're off.
And the Golden Shield have the ball to start the 4th. And we have a carrying call, turnover. Watmore now pushing the ball up court, and she is fouled by that aggressive defense of the Mountaineers.
You know, that's a trade-off of an aggressive defense, is that you tend to draw a few more fouls than normal.
And Watmore working off court again. Watmore down low with a nice look, but no good.
And Rymack just battling for that.
And she is a gritty player. You often see her down on the floor fighting for that loose ball.
Yeah, that's right. And grit is a central theme of this team between her, the Brown sisters. And we're starting to see some grit coming through. We talked about Lacey Walters acclimating to this play style. We're seeing a little bit of that with her from down low as well.
DiLorenzi with the cross-court pass. That's something they've been doing all afternoon here for the Mountaineers.
And a turnover in Cambrian's favor.
Lockmore just getting the ball over half court in time for the 8 seconds. And Arbor with the steal.
Great pass.
Rymack able to finish down low.
Karina Brown read that pass so well.
Outside look, no good. DiLorenzi pushes it up ahead to Steph Rymack. Karina Brown calls her own number, shoots the 3, but falls down.
Overshoots
and
that
she
a
is
little.
Pushed.
Yeah, I thought she was pushed on the release there. Kind of lost her footing. And Chantel McMohan is hitting the court for Trish Taylor.
Rymack over to Brown. Brown shoots the 3. Caitlin Arbor taking a hard fall there.
And the official almost getting almost getting taken down as well as the ball bounced off her shoulder and Caitlin Arbor just missed her.
Cross-court pass to Brown for another attempt at a 3-pointer. No good, but rebounded once again. Another second chance, and now a third chance for the Mountaineers. Brown drives, but has it stolen. Watmore was leaking out, but couldn't get a pass from her teammate. Carly Dugan passes it to McMohan. She misfires on a 3. Now Steph Rymack comes out of there with the ball. And Watmore looks incredulous as the foul was called on her.
Incredulous, Kyler. Do you have a word of the day calendar?
I have an app.
I thought you might.
She couldn't believe the foul was on her. And now we have DiLorenzi passing to Brown. Brown holding the ball, cross-court pass back to DiLorenzi. And a nice little scoop shot. Nice finger roll there from DiLorenzi.
From DiLorenzi, yeah. And we're seeing Mohawk offense getting a little more creative now.
And why not with the big lead? Try a few new plays. And Lacey Walters battling tough down low for the defensive board. She comes away with it.
No way you're stripping that ball from Walters there.
Cross-court pass to Brown. Brown, nice look for Walters. Couldn't handle the pass,
a little too much on that pass. She can get both hands on it.
A little bit of razzle-dazzle from Karina Brown there. Unfortunately, her teammate couldn't catch the ball.
And you see Mohawk has significantly, actually I'd say both teams have a lot more energy than either did in the first and the second quarters.
Well, right now the score is 55-27 in favor of the Mountaineers. And these two teams, of course, played last night, right here at the David Braley Athletic Recreation Center. And one positive for the Golden Shield team, despite all the turnovers they've committed, is they've already scored more points here this afternoon, 27, than they did last night, 26. And we still have about 7 minutes left to play.
That's right, and as a team, you know, when you're in this losing posture, you have to take as much positive as you can out of everything.
That's right, Greg. This Cambrian team looking like they're going to move to 0-6 on the season. You have to find small victories in the course of a season like that. Outside look from Dugan, rebounded by Brown.
And Dugan favoring that right arm. Looks like her wrist possibly.
And Mountaineers coach Kevin Duffy gets set to bring in a new wave of players as 4 new players getting set to check in on the next dead ball. Dugan brings the ball up court now against Steph Rymack. McMohan backs down Walters. Outside look from Watmore is no good. We have 4 new players coming in for the Mountaineers now.
And you know, Steph Bork, you know, it's her first year, and she's seeing a lot of play time this season so far too. And we see there our Mountaineers men's team just kicking it, taking in the girls' game right now, and their game is coming up next, of course, against Cambrian. They're going in for a doubleheader as well.
And that's right, Greg. These Mohawk men's team and the women's team looking to sweep this 2-game set on the weekend here against the Cambrian Golden Shield and coming away with 4 victories.
That's right, Kyler. And they look like they're having a good time watching their women's team win.
Hoping to build on that in the next game, which will be coming up right after this one.
Well, everyone looks like they're having a good time except Alex Reese. Alex Reese is always very serious.
Until he gets on the court, then he's usually got a big smile when he's playing if his team is
I was just going to say, you would think it would be the other way around. And of course, we have Alex Reese coming up, our pregame interview with him. And he has had an exceptional season, though, this far.
And Dugan from the corner for a 3.
And Cambrian with 3 out of 4 of her 3 attempts going in.
DiLorenzi down low.
And we see Bishop back on. And I'm not sure if DiLorenzi got a piece of that. Yeah, I think she did.
Watmore into McMohan.
And Carissa Brown not happy with that call. Didn't think that it was a blocking call. And Trish Taylor will head to the point.
Coach Duffy looking on at his team, about to improve to 4-1 on the season. Natalie Fisher bringing it up against Watmore now. And Carissa Brown looking to find an open teammate, and that is Anna Borick. Natalie Fisher passes up the open look and drives to the basket. She finds DiLorenzi down low, who will shoot 2 free throws.
And you look at the way Duffy is running his bench right now, and you never see 2 players with the same role on the court. You never see the Brown sisters on there. You don't see Rymack and Borick at the same time on the court, and you don't see Fisher and Arbor on the court at the same time either. And you're starting to see these roles being defined throughout the team.
Well, it's almost like the Mountaineers have 2 starting units that have similar players, but they have enough depth to roll them out at different times in the game.
That's right. We're seeing them come out in groups of 4, so you know that they're being carved out into their own units by Coach Duffy. And we see DiLorenzi, that one just bouncing out of the bucket.
And Victoria Bishop brings the ball up the court now.
And we have Rymack heading in for DiLorenzi, and we're just talking about how we often don't see Rymack and Bishop and Borg on the court at the same time, and now they are. Proven wrong. Thank you, Coach Duffy.
Borick Passes to Brown, to Fisher. Open baseline jumper is good.
And Fisher's been trying to hit those all afternoon, and she's really happy that she drained that one.
Down low, no good. Rebound to the smallest player on the court, Anna Borick. Ahead to Carissa Brown now. 3.5 minutes to go in this game. Mohawk holding on to a 60-31 lead. And looking to build on that lead here on this possession. Brown with an open shot off the mark. Nearly rebounded by Mohawk, and they do knock it out of bounds off of the Golden Shield.
3:22 left in this game with a 29-point lead. I think Mohawk women's is feeling really good. This will be their second win in a row for them after that loss to St. Clair. St. Clair is outstanding this season.
And wide open, down low. Everybody forgot about Steph Rymack, and she was able to sneak inside for an uncontested layup. And the Mountaineers now doubling up the score of the Golden Shield. Rymack battling for the ball down low, as she does throughout the entire game.
It's just a matter of time with all those Golden Shield around her that they might force a turnover. And we see Anna Borick, the first year. We've seen a lot of play time this weekend for the Mountaineers women's.
Their bench has got a lot of minutes so far in this 2-game set against the Cambrian Golden Shield. A lot more, nobody home on that pass except Natalie Fisher. 2-on-1 now. Let's see what happens here. And we have a turnover.
That's right, and Borick has played almost 12 minutes now in the fourth quarter. And Borick puts away Rymack's botched layup. And we've got another timeout being called here by the Golden Shield. And 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in this game. Today here at the D-Bark. It's been a pleasure having you with us in our brand new facility here. And pretty okay crowd today, this afternoon for a Saturday, and a couple people in the gym watching from the treadmills. And I saw the spinning class taking a look at us earlier.
Yeah, everybody watching on through the glass windows in this brand new athletic recreation center.
That's right, but it's part of what I like so much about the D-Bark is it's all very open. And I've often been on the treadmills and watched some of these games, especially the volleyball going on.
Are you've been on the treadmill, Greg? I didn't. I was unaware of that.
Yes, Kyler. I frequent the treadmill, not the elliptical. Important distinction. And timeout's over. Both teams heading back to the court now.
2 minutes and 10 seconds to go in this fourth quarter. And Dugan brings the ball up court now. Carissa Brown maintaining that tough defense throughout this game, even though they have the big lead. Rymack wide open. Let's see what she does here. Off the backboard and in.
And Browntown is just, they are just stealing everything, and they play such aggressive defense. And we saw her not give up on that.
And that's really a good sign going forward this season, that this team does not quit. Even though they have a huge lead, they're just going to play hard throughout the entire game.
That's right. I really think the Mountaineers women's team has two speeds, 110 and 0. There's no halving anything.
Brown with a long look. It's an air ball. Rymack tries to save it unsuccessfully.
that pass a little high for Victoria Bishop. Anna Bork will take it for the Mountaineers.
Steph Rymack with the skip pass. Walters has it in low. Good passing and ball movement now from the Mountaineers on display.
I had a feeling that was going to come in for Walters. They were just trying to set that up.
Final minute of play now.
You see McMullen with it. And Brown with another.
Oh, almost able to save it. Throws it off the back of her own backboard.
Technically another steal for Brown & Brown. The law firm dispensing justice across the court. Your team is up 30-something points, and you still see your players digging for balls and battling hard, and you know that there's no relenting. And it's be really proud as a coach to look onto your team like that.
It's a good 2-game set for the Mountaineers and Coach Duffy here. Really build their confidence going forward in this season.
And back-to-back games, you know, they're tough physically, and they can be very taxing, and it's good for the Mountaineers to get this early in the season, get this experience, and especially for a lot of the youngsters like Anna Boric here.
And nothing to do but let the clock wind down to 0 now.
And the Mountaineers take this one 66-31 here at the D-Bark.
And let's take a look at some of the highlights from that game that we just saw.
We saw that block there by Trish Taylor.
And Portia Hewitt was really leading the fast break on multiple occasions so far.
She had a lot of breakaways and a lot of forced turnovers there. And she's very calm with the ball, and we see Brown taking a fall there and Bishop losing her balance.
Rymack was really one of the best shooters for the Mountaineers today on a day when a lot of people struggled to shoot a high percentage.
That's right. You know, she gets a lot of rebounds down low, but she's really groomed as an outside shooter, though, which is interesting to see because you wouldn't normally see that from someone.
Yeah, she's really known for her scrappy defense and picking up rebounds down low against taller players.
And never afraid to fight for the ball. We see Rymack right here with those last attempts.
And a good win for the Mountaineers team, who improves to 3-1 on the season, Greg.
That's right. And the Mountaineers put in a great effort. And like we said, back-to-back games are never a joke, and you always want to perform your best in both of those games, and they can be very taxing.
A couple of quality wins, and the next home game for this women's Mountaineers team will be November 23rd against Humber at 2 p.m.
That's right.